Hey, this is Ryder coming with you today with some basic jungling routes. Today we're going to be discussing some jungle timers and the reason why you need to take Smite on every jungler. Take it away, Variable.
Alright guys, like Ryder said, this is just a basic jungling tutorial. We're going to be going over some basic starting items, how to counter jungle, where to place some wards, some basic stuff. So, basic starting items, you're going to start with cloth armor and 5 health potions.
So, who are you running today?
This is Udyr. He's kind of designed to jungle, one of the earlier champions, but still holds up well in the current meta. See here, I'm going to go straight for this camp. The basic route you're going to take on most junglers is going to be your wolf camp, your blue, wraith, red, little golems, and then back to race. But we'll get to all that in a little bit, and it's going to be a little bit confusing right now.
Yeah, don't try to keep up with any of this. Just watch the video.
Alright, if you're a little bit lower level, this might be a little bit harder for you to pull off. You might have to change the route. Might have to wait till you're a little bit higher level. Jungling can be a little bit rune and mastery intensive on some characters. Udyr is probably a good one to start with, though. He's a safe jungler. He's fast. He ganks hard. This is your boy.
What about some other junglers you know that could really jungle without runes or masteries?
Siobhan is always a good choice. She doesn't have much CC, but she hits hard. Master Yi's good. Not very meta, but he's definitely a good jungler. Nocturne's always fun. Nunu, very old jungler, but still very fun to play. So here you see the wolf spawn. I'm careful whenever you're in the jungle to watch out for the enemy jungler or the enemy team. If you don't see them on the map, well, you won't see the other jungler, but if you don't see the lanes on the map, just be aware that they could come to you and try and mess you up.
And there are, in fact, junglers you should be more wary of. They are more capable of counter jungling.
That's very true. If you're fighting a Shaco, he's going to come into your jungle. It's just going to happen.
It's gonna, yes.
So you see there, I save my potions and my smite until I get to the blue buff. And I save smite for the end. Smite's going to be what kills the buff. So throughout the fight, I pop potions as necessary. And at the very end, I use smite to make sure the kill goes to me and not someone else sitting right over the wall.
Indeed.
From the blue buff, you're going to run back down through here, behind the first tower in your mid lane, and straight to the Wraith camp.
So how exactly are we going to take down this Wraith camp?
Well, at the Wraith camp, you're going to start at the top left Wraith. It's the bigger one, and it's actually called the Big Wraith.
Yeah.
It's the hardest to kill. It has a slight lifesteal component, so you want to get it out of the way first. This is where you're really going to feel an AoE jungler be really nice, because you hit all the Wraiths at one time.
Especially that Big Daddy Wraith.
Yeah, that one's going to be a little bit hard when you first start out. From there, you're going to go to the red buff. This is the hardest jungle camp to kill. Probably where you're going to die the most when you're first learning the jungle. The blue buff you get, you see it swirling around me from the blue golem. It gives you a cooldown reduction and slight mana regeneration.
That's blue buff.
That's blue buff. The one we just killed is the red buff. It gives you a DOT on your attacks as a damage over time if you're very new to games.
Yeah.
And it also slows whoever you attack by a slight amount.
Which is great for melee champions, because it actually gives the melee champions more of an advantage over ranged champions when it comes to the slow.
That's very true. From there, you're going to hit the small golems like you just saw us do. From there, you're going to run back up to the Wraith camp.
Well, the Wraiths are already there? Like, how fast is their respawn time?
The Wraiths spawn at 50 seconds.
Huh.
And the wolves and the little golems respawn at a minute. It's important to note the initial timer for those 3 camps is 1 minute and 40 seconds. For the blue buff and the red buff, it's 1 minute and 55 seconds.
Oh, okay.
If you can, you're going to look around when you're level 4 and see if any lanes are pushed up. Now, I saw this guy earlier get low on health. Going to see if he's still here. He is. Going to use my flash, get in, get a stun off, and get the kill. And when I run away, I'm going to run through these bushes here. That way, in case the other jungler's sitting here, he won't be able to see me and I can get away easier.
Yeah, note it's always easy to get lost in the jungle. You'll note it, yes, your friends will be, hey, gank here, gank here. Usually level 4 is always a great level. Don't always wait till 6.
Now, level 4 is good level. Some guys will try and go earlier, some will go later. Level 4 is the average of where it's a good time to gank. Now, another job as a jungler is to place wards. You see right there, I put it right in front of the dragon, where I can see the dragon and the entrance to their jungle. If you're on purple team, that little bush right there called the tri-bush is a good one to go. Not so much if you're on blue team. It's not that big of a deal. If you want to be a very aggressive jungler and steal their camps, you're going to come over here and put a ward in this bush next to their blue buff.
So that's more if you're wanting to steal their blue.
Yes, it's still their blue. That way, you can see if they use their smite too early, they don't use it at all. You can sit over the wall or in the bush and just smite it over them.
Gotcha.
We're going to do the same thing here at the top of the map. And you see by where the little square is on the mini-map. This is if you want to steal their red buff. This is also good if they're ganking your top lane a lot. You can see them going from their red buff to your top lane. If you're a blue team and they're purple, that is. Right here, this isn't an important ward until later in the game, about 16 to 18 minutes in. But that's going to be a very important ward after that. That's got to stay where you can see it, or that will get stolen. Right here, if you're on blue team, this is the equivalent of where we put it at the bottom. It's just a top tri-bush. This is a more defensive ward for the junglers. Make sure what you're trying to do to them doesn't happen to you. If they come in, you can see them. Your top and your mid can come help you. And maybe kill them, maybe just save the buff, whatever works out. Same thing for your red buff. Here you're going to see a little bit of counter jungling. Going to be really risky coming at level 1. Since I know the time that blue buff spawns, I know he'll probably start at wolves. I know about when they come in. He smites too early, I get it. And since I'm ahead on life, I'm going to press my advantage here.
So that's always why you want to take smite first. You see, if some jungler blows their smite too early or they don't have it, you get a free steal on it if you know they're there.
Exactly. You see here, I'm chasing him in. He just blew his flash right there to get away from me. So when he ganks our lane, he won't have a flash anymore, and he just lost all that mana regeneration.
The key of counter jungling is to always try to set the other jungler back.
You see here, this is a little bit more risky. I know I'm behind, but we need something to help us win. So I wait for him to blow a smite first. I pop mine, and I gotta run away here. If you die, you transfer the buff to the person who killed you. So stealing the buff and then dying is not any good at all.
We call that feeding down in the boondocks.
That is feeding in the boondocks. Feeding most other places too, and your team will not be happy about it.
Indeed.
Now we're going to show you a more likely scenario. Starting at level 1, I'm going to start at my wolves again. In actuality, Warwick's a pretty slow jungler, but we're going to pretend like he's fast right now for the point.
Yeah. So right now he's just going to hit up on the wolves, and one of the most key counter jungling moves is to just go up and steal Big Daddy Wraith from your enemy. It's okay to blow your smite on it, just as long as, once again, you're trying to set the other jungler back as much as possible.
So see right here, I'm just going to follow just the pretty much most straightforward route to that Wraith camp. I'm coming behind it, careful not to get spotted by mid in case something goes crazy there. And as soon as it comes into vision, I'm going to smite it. I'm just going to run away. The other Wraiths aren't really a big deal. They don't give you much gold. They don't have the sigil on them. It's not a big deal.
All right, so right here, you're going to be taking Dragon. You notice he hits smite just off a little bit too early. We're really going to... It's not really good to do that, as we showed you before on the blue buff. That really opens up a spot if you use it too early or you don't have smite for somebody to just come in and steal blue buff or your Dragon.
Dragon is worth 195 gold to every member of the team that kills it, whether they were there or not. So you can see right here, the enemy jungler steals Dragon from me. That gives our team a substantial boost to gold. And because Dragon did all that work on damage, he's going to walk in. Even with my flash over the wall, trying to run away, he's still going to catch back up to me, still kill me for the win.
Don't ever listen to a jungler on your team who urges that he does not need smite. You don't necessarily need smite to clear the jungle, but it is key to objective control. You absolutely need smite as a jungler. And that'll wrap up our basic guide for jungling route. I hope you learned a lot from this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll make sure to put out some more content for you guys in future. Thanks.